Hey, Kingdom Dream Chasers. Gail Root back with you to talk about Kingdom business. Today we're talking about foundation. What is your foundation for your business? This is a question that I don't think we ask often enough. Why? Because it is crucial to the success of our business. The things that we have built, think of a home, right? You've got to have a foundation, a strong foundation, or else everything you're building can come down over time. So it takes wisdom to build that foundation and be monitoring. Are there any cracks in the foundation? Where are the cracks? Why have the cracks occurred? And so building that strong foundation is crucial. And so I asked in our Kingdom Dream Chasers Facebook group yesterday, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say, how strong is your foundation for your business? Well, it was very interesting, the responses. Um, and what was most interesting is there was an uncertainty about what that question even meant, which made me very motivated to do this episode because, like I said at the beginning, I don't think we talk about this enough. And what I'm going to share with you today is after being an entrepreneur for decades, having a business where I've been um, partnered with God for the first time over about the past 6 years. What does that kingdom foundation look like? If I'm going to have a kingdom business, what are the key things in my foundation that has helped me to, get past that six-figure mark in my coaching business? That has helped me to partner with God. That has helped me to steward the mindsets and the beliefs. What are the key things in my foundation that are the fruit, really, of my business? And so there's going to be 5 areas that we're going to talk about. We're going to be wrapping up with the most exciting, which is the fruit of having a foundation in your kingdom business. But I first want to just say I did a podcast a little while ago about my journey, my kind of metamorphosis, if you will, from being an entrepreneur mind, have an entrepreneur mindset, to then moving to a kingdom entrepreneur mindset, then moving to a kingdom driven entrepreneur mindset, then moving to a kingdom business woman mindset. And I'm just going to very briefly go through those real quick. So, the entrepreneur, we think of entrepreneur traits, right? They're usually very solo, they're very self focused. The entrepreneur has certain traits, higher levels of motivation, vision, um, chutzpah, willingness to keep going when it gets tough, willingness to overcome the challenges of the mind, perseverance, skill building. So, we can see a lot of these entrepreneur traits, but they are very inwardly focused. And then we move to a kingdom driven. It's like, okay, if I'm going to be a kingdom entrepreneur, I want the Lord to be I want to be partnered with the Lord in my business. But then when we say we're kingdom driven, that means that what is driving me is always for God's glory before anything else. So it's very easy in our journey as business women to let other things come before goals, success, um, performing, striving, hustling. Those things can easily move in and become a higher priority. We can lose the reminder that we've got to surrender every morning, every day, make space for Him, right? So then we get kingdom driven. We're really kingdom driven, but we're still that entrepreneur mindset. Then the Lord said, okay, Gail, it's time for you to be a kingdom businesswoman where it's not about you anymore. It's about, and it's, as kingdom driven women, we're always service focused. However, when we're kingdom businesswomen, we want the business to be not just about us. We want to bring in other people that we collaborate with, that we help elevate not just our clients, but there could be other vendors or other coaches or other clients who are going on that want to come in and help us with our mission. So there's a much more collaborative nature. We realize that we let go of it's about me, and we start realizing no, it's a bigger picture now. It's about collaboration. It's about community, right? Not Gail Root. So and all of these are just beautiful ways that we gain in humility. We grow in humility and realize that the Lord's got something bigger than us in mind. So let's get into these 5 areas of your foundation so you can go through and use these as little check marks along the way. So the first one is, you're not going to be surprised, God is our foundation. It's our surrender that I believe God has called me to my business. I have a mission in my business, and the mission is bigger than me. I have to surrender and lay down my goals and dreams and what this business looks like, um, every day, and it's got to be my first priority. God has to be my first priority every morning. I've got to make space by surrendering and sitting quietly with him so that he can speak. If there's no space, if I'm so cluttered and overwhelmed and full of self and all the thoughts and all the things, there's no space to hear that still small voice all throughout the day to guide me and redirect me, help me to have discernment so that I don't start getting off course. So this is crucial. Also, when we do this every morning, he realigns us and our priorities start to fall back into place. The priorities that he has given us in his word, they're very clear. And so it's very easy, for example, to sometimes have my business be taking more of a prominent place than my marriage at times. So, what am I doing to make sure that my marriage is before my business? My family is before my business. So, um, my health is before my business. So, when those things get out of alignment, I'm supposed to feel uncomfortable. That's supposed to stress me out because it's I'm not in alignment, all right? So that's what that first foundational piece is crucial. God is first, my priorities are in alignment. When they get out of alignment, not if, when they get out of alignment, I've got that still small voice saying, "Uh-oh, Gail, let's get back on track here. You have taken an off ramp," which and I want to just share briefly, how do you know if what you're doing every morning is actually bearing fruit? Well, you're changing. You have more clarity in the day than you used to have. When overwhelm hits you, you do not stay in it as long. There's a new level of peace and a new level of courage that is walking with you that just feels really new. You have a new ability to discern, like I said, those distractions, and you're recommitting daily and sometimes, guys, hourly to that mission and calling that God has given you for the women that He's called you to serve, the mission that you have to help them. You're recommitting to that because you realize this journey with God, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than your business. All right. And God's got exciting things. And I think, lastly, when we've got God first and the priorities are in alignment, we have the discernment, we're walking with that courage during the day. There is please hear this, another fruit you'll see is there's an acceptance of obstacles. When obstacles and difficult things come, you don't freak out anymore. You're like, "Oh, whoa." You're like, "Oh, whoa." I and you start to feel that overwhelmed, and then you're like, "No, no, no. This is part of business. This is part of my transformation as a businesswoman. I need to learn how to overcome these obstacles because as I do, I'm being strengthened. I'm being prepared and equipped for that next level because who I am today is not going to get me where God is calling me to go in my business. So the how do I become that person? Through the resistance, weight training, right? How does the muscle grow? It grows through resistance, and that's what the obstacles are there for. They apply some pressure, some resistance that we have to get up and over. And every time we do that, we get stronger, and our ability to do it faster, it is really exciting. So you start to look back and think, gosh, when I used to feel these overwhelming thoughts about tech or about what I'm supposed to be doing or something, writing my sales copy, whatever, I used to just let this shut me down for days. And now it's like in 15 minutes, I'm able to get up and over that obstacle in my mind. Okay. So that's number one. That relationship with God is absolute as a priority. The priority is upmost to the kingdom foundation of your business. Now, number two is, at its heart, is humility. And what that means is, have you found, well, number one, do you know where you want to go? So God has given you a vision and you're trusting that He will redirect you. But if I know that my ultimate goal is to get over to become a six-figure earner, which was my goal a few years ago, and I'm going to tell you, Here's a key thing why I'm so passionate about what we're talking about today. It took me 3 years to get there, and I know it only needed to take 1. Now that I can look back in hindsight, I can see all of the things that I did that kept me in the wilderness for those 3 years rather than being able to get there in 1 year. In a 12-month journey is all you need to build a six-figure business with God, and I'm proof of that now. But more importantly, when I did get to the other side, I was like, Lord, why did it have to take me so long? And then I had this beautiful piece of understanding that because now I know so many pitfalls that I fell into, so I can help my clients avoid those pitfalls. So when we look at number two, of a clear, crucial component of the foundation of your kingdom business, it is that you have a proven roadmap in front of you. Why is this so crucial? Because the amount of distractions that you're confronted with every day are unprecedented. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. That's a fact. Unprecedented. You will be drawn by bells and whistles left and right through sponsored ads, through opportunities. Many of them sound wonderful. Believe me, I fell for many of them. But, without a proven roadmap in front of you that you're committed to and that you trust, you will wander. You will wander and you will detour. Instead of your progress being that 1 year straight line to that six-figure business, you will go left and you will go right and you will come back and then you'll get back on track and then, "Oh, I'm going over here," and, "Oh, I'm going over here." And that will create, for me, a 3 year journey instead of a 1 year journey. So if you've got a lot of time on your hands and you want to waste it, by all means, but you've got to make a decision. Who are you going to trust that has gone before you, that has a roadmap that you believe can get you where you want to go. Now, you might say, well, my goal isn't a six-figure business. Maybe you're already at a six-figure business and you want to, multiply that further. Maybe you're like, no, I only want a 50K business. Okay, good. Well, get on a path with somebody who's done it that you trust. And when you look at the tools that they want to give you for that journey, do they have everything you need that will get you from A, your starting point, to Z, your end goal? Because if they don't have everything you need, and this was a huge mistake that I made, they had a piece of what I needed, but they didn't have everything. And so I would get that piece and then I'd take an off ramp, I'd get that piece and come back on, and then, oh, here's another piece. And um, I wasted a lot of time. All right. So you've got a trusted person in front of you. They're helping you get from A to Z. And what does some of that help look like? It looks like they've got tools that can help you get from A to Z, and we'll talk about tools in a little bit. They've got intimate coaching with you. That means that they're going to not just throw something out there, and you're going to really kind of feel like you're out on your own doing it. No, if you really want to grow a six-figure business, then you need someone who's going to be walking with you, working with you, knowing your story intimately and wants to help you intimately and has every confidence, even guarantees that she can help you get there. Um, One of the key things here for me was that when it was taking me 3 years, um, what I was doing was I was letting someone help me, and then I was pulling back and relying on Gail again. And then I would go let someone help me, and I'd pull back and rely on Gail again. And I now see again how that caused me to be back. We look at what the 40 years in the wilderness in Scripture, and it's like God's like, I told you what to do, and you keep wandering away from it. And so, making a commitment that, okay, this person's gone before me. I'm going to humble myself and I'm going to follow. Here's another really key thing that came with the roadmap. And the belief. So, what is a roadmap? A roadmap's a system that someone else has proven and they are trustworthy in your eyes. Okay. And you believe they can help you get there. And you're just like we said in the foundation piece number one, God, I'm all in, you're first, and this business is in your hands, and here I go. And number two, we're saying, okay, Lord, my level of belief, my hands are, my level of belief in the calling that you've given me is equaling my level of willingness to invest in that calling. As your belief grows, that God does want you to grow a six-figure business so that you can help more women, you can have more impact, you can bless your family more, right? Money, guys, is just a chance to have a more intimate relationship with Jesus. And fear of money, fear of excess is fear. God does God there's nothing about God's nature in us that is about fear. He wants you to be successful. Why? Because he is the God of abundance. His nature is victorious. The battle is already won. Success in our today's language is the same as victory in scripture's language. God is a God of victory. He is a God of success. If you partner with him, success is your end. Period. When and how? That's where we have to start trusting others to help us. And so I realized that my level of belief at the beginning that I was really called, please hear this. It wasn't really about, I knew I was called to more and I knew God had given me the capacity for more. But I really struggled with my belief that God wanted me to build a six-figure business. Once I read about what God said about scripture, about women ministering in the marketplace, about what Jesus said about success, about what Jesus said about money, all of those lies started to fall away. And I was set free and realized, okay, God, now my belief that you're in this, that this business that you've called me to create is of you and with you. Now I'm willing to invest at a much higher level in my equipping, in with the coach that I need that's going to help me get to point Z where I want to go. So just please know that investment in that roadmap, it takes humility, it takes belief, and it takes surrender. Okay. So we got number one, God. We've got number two, our humble step that we are going to invest in the roadmap that's going to take us there. And here's why I say humble is because there are going to be so many times when you get on that road, got your roadmap in front of you, you're going to see detours, you're going to see shiny objects to the left and right of that roadmap that in 1 year is going to take you where you want to go. But you're going to see these shiny off ramps and they're going to look very alluring. And you're going to think, oh, I need this. All right. But I'm going to challenge you, whoever you choose, whatever you choose, stay the course. Follow the system of the coach in front of you. Quit delaying your progress, delaying your success by taking these off ramps. It doesn't mean that some of those things aren't important at some point in your business, but stay true. If I could go back now and have had someone standing there on the side of the road saying, Gail, I know it looks, I know it looks very tempting to get off this road right now and go over there for that diversion. You think it's going to help you. It's going to bring you. Don't do it. Stay focused. You made a commitment to follow a proven system. Follow it. All right. If I had had someone standing there, it wouldn't have taken me 3 years. It would have taken me one. But now I know pitfalls, things to look for, so I can help my clients not fall for the same temptations that I fell for. All right. Number three, key. Now, this is probably one of the easiest things to figure out. Like if you just were to Google, what are the key foundational things that any successful business has to have? Well, in some form or another, you're going to see KPIs, key performing indicators. What does that mean? That means that you have an awareness. We're talking about what are the crucial foundational things I have to have in order to have a successful business. You have a very keen awareness of what are the key indicators in your business. It's kind of like your dashboard lights in your car. So we've got our roadmap now, right? We've surrendered to the Lord. He's partnered with us. Um, he's in the passengers, you could say the driver's seat or the passenger seat. There's both ways that can be very honoring to God. He wants you to drive, but he is sitting there telling you where to go and what to do, and you're listening with your full ear. But he still wants you to be the one taking action. You've got to be the one doing it. You've got to be the one. You know, when he can't steer a parked car. We want Jesus to have the wheel, but we are still in the driver's seat. But invited him to take over the wheel because he's right there, partner with us, beside us. So when you're driving down the road, you've got a dashboard, and the dashboard lights let you know when gas is getting low and oil needs to be changed. All right. All of these key indicators. What are the key indicators in your business? Well, for all of us, they might be a little bit different, but here are some very general ones, right? Leads. You've got to have new eyeballs coming in, or our business is dying. It's kind of like, if you're a brick and mortar and you put your open sign out, and last year you had, 20 people come in a day. This year you have 10 coming in a day, and now you're, oh my gosh, we had 5 come in today. You've got to be aware of, do I have new eyeballs coming in? It's a key performance indicator of the success of your business. And if you don't have in that roadmap that we talked about, if there isn't lead generation key, a way for you to be ongoing, inviting women into your space, if that isn't part of it, it's probably not the right roadmap, right? Because lead generation is foundationally crucial. You should know right now, what are the activities that you do every day, every week, every month that bring new eyeballs? And if you're not sure, that's a really say thank you, Jesus, for teaching me this right now, because I need to go make sure daily I'm looking for the new eyeballs. And what are the activities that I do that bring new eyeballs? Okay. So, um, really what KPIs are in another business term, that those key performance indicators, you're taking inventory. And this is so kingdom. Why? Because Jesus tells us, be awake, light. God is a God of light, which means he's a God of truth. He wants us to be keenly aware, because that's where we get wisdom to make decisions. If we are not aware of what our income is, what our expenses are, where our profit is, where our leads are, how our sales conversions are doing, if we're not aware of these things, then our decision making is really taxed. It's really not possible to have a strong decision making skills without all of the facts, right? And so it's amazing to me how many of us as entrepreneurs don't want to look at our dashboard, our key performance indicators. How many leads are coming in? How many people are coming when I invite? How many people are saying yes to my offer? Um, how many people are coming into my program? Where is my revenue, right? So if we don't understand those things and are very aware of them, we were taking inventory of them. We see the dashboard lights every day as we're driving down the road. If we don't have that kind of relationship with our key performance indicators, we're operating essentially in the dark. We're trying to make decisions from a dark place. So we should, please hear this, we should feel confused. We should feel overwhelmed, and we should fall into self pity, because I'm trying so hard and I'm just not getting anywhere. Well, where are your key performance indicators? So pull back from the emotion, get the emotion out of it, and take inventory. All right, look at those dashboard lights. What are they telling you? Um, you know, in my roadmap for women, not only do we have lead nurturing, lead generating, we have a vehicle to bring leads in. We have a kingdom focused, value focused, trust building community, right? We create an offer that, because sales in the kingdom is win win. She wins because she's going to get this amazing transformation, whether it's a product transformation, a coaching transformation. She wins and you win, because you get to step more fully into your calling, because you have these clients, you get to the joy of serving them, and you get the financial blessing for being paid for the value that you bring. All right. And every time you repeat that process, you grow in your mastery of each of those skills. Repetition is crucial. Okay. So, that's something that you want to be looking for in the roadmap. The roadmap should have the key performance indicators in it, on the dashboard. And the roadmap should also have the kingdom principles of sales, that you're nurturing an ongoing relationship. Let's see here. Um, you know, Things that are how in our key performance indicators, we're looking at them. We've got quarterly goals to reach our annual goal. We've got someone walking with us so that we're accountable. We've got a community. key performance indicator. If you are trying to do it alone, you're I want you're kind of outside the kingdom principles of a kingdom business because community, humility of I can't do this alone. Not only do I need God, but I need the people that God's going to bring into my life, not just a coach, but a community of women who are trying to get to the same destination I am. And another thing about the roadmap, it's got to be customizable. You don't want a coach who says you have to do it, and it's going to sound like two different I'm saying two different things, and I'm not. So please stay with me. You don't want a coach who says you have to do it my way. Now, what you do want is a coach who said, listen, this is the roadmap. It's proven, it's trusted. Not only have I done it, others have done it. However, you're going to customize it. You're really not going to change the um, the highway that we're going to go on, if you will. We're taking the road that I have for you is the straightest road. You know how when you do MapQuest and you've got all the different choices, and you're like, oh, we want that choice. It's because it's the shortest one, right? This is the shortest road. However, your journey along that road is going to look different. You're going to be in a different car, right? And your journey is customizable because that's kingdom, right? Everybody's journey is unique. However, we're traveling together on the same road. And hallelujah for that, because I don't want to travel alone. Not only do I need God, I need others. And there's that humility in that. Okay. So number four, um, and really, guys, I could spend a whole month just on one of these. Okay. So this is just an overview, but that kingdom foundation. Number four is technology, right? If you don't have it in 2025, if you don't have technology as a part of the foundation of your business, I'm going to challenge you that you're probably operating out of fear rather than wisdom because we live in 2025. God knew you were going to live in 2025. And he also knew that you grew up at a time where a lot of this technology, you couldn't have even imagined it if you tried. Therefore, it's uncomfortable because it's new and I don't know how I should feel about it. All right. Well, I'm here to tell you, don't have a lot of feelings about it. Just know that if you're going to have a successful business, and if you really want to get from point A to point Z with just quickly, and without a lot of um, unnecessary detours and delays, remember, it took me 3 years, should have taken me one. Then, if that's the case, then technology can be your best friend. Now, you're like, "Well, Gail, that's a little dramatic. I don't want technology to be my best friend." Well, let's talk about this. Because what does a best friend do? A best friend gives you support. A best friend gives you wisdom and ideas that you wouldn't have on your own. So when we talk about what technology am I talking about? Well, uh, ChatGPT for one, automation tools that allow you to send out nurturing sequences to the leads that are coming in so that you are more free to have many more one-on-one conversations. So what technology does is it gives you leverage, it saves you time. And how do you then use that time? You're literally, when you invest your time and your brain space in creating automations in your business, one at a time, one step at a time, with help, you are buying back time into your life. And that time may go into more sales conversations. That time may go into more pickleball. That time may go into taking a whole day off every week, like I do on Fridays. So I can have a 3-day weekend so that I can love my life, so that I can come back Mondays like, let's go, right? Because I had a 3-day weekend. It's so fun. I highly recommend it. But anyway, so technology, allow it to be leverage. It's kind of like, I want you to think about, let's just take Matthew 11:28 through 30. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. So, one of the images of yoking are two ox. Okay. An ox is, from what I understand and have read, a very stubborn animal. Okay. Left on its own, with you just having reins on one ox, It's very, very strong, and it's just going to drive you, okay? Some of us allow our businesses to look like that. We allow our emotions to drive our day. We allow technology fears to drive our day. Versus when you put two ox together and you yoke them at the shoulders and the neck, and you're behind, they stay in front of you. They stay guided. You are guiding them. You are governing them. Okay. And so you have all of this strength harnessing in front of you. That's what technology does. It is a leverage. Now, if you're out there in your field going, you're looking over at your neighbor and they're using the technology, they're using the yoking, they're using and they see them, you see them behind the two, and you're thinking, I don't like the way that looks. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like those 2 ox being yoked together like that. Maybe it's hurting them. They don't seem free. Whatever judgments you have about the technology, they're judgments. You don't actually know until you start using it. Technology is just a tool. It's like a shovel. If you want to dig a hole in your backyard and you need to dig a hole because you have this beautiful plant someone gave you for Mother's Day, your children gave you for Mother's Day, and if the plant's going to die if it stays in that little pot. So you need to get it into the ground. But every day you go out there and you look at that thing and you don't want to dig the hole. You don't want to use the shovel. And now you get mad at the shovel because the shovel is just sitting in your garage, leaning up against the wall. The shovel is a tool, just like money, just like AI, just like automations and software, the things that can give you leverage to buy back your time so that you are more free, you have more energy, you have more bandwidth to have more conversations and to be more free and love your life so you can love your business. Because I'm here to tell you, if your foundation of your business doesn't have rest in your schedule, doesn't have joy in your schedule, you're really not building a kingdom business. You're building a job and it's feeling overwhelming and you're letting your feelings guide you, which brings us to number 5. And that is the fruit. The fruit we need to, why is fruit a foundation of our kingdom business? Because if we don't have fruit, clearly we've got some major cracks in our kingdom foundation of our business. What's fruit? Fruit is I'm loving my life, meaning my schedule, meaning I have profit coming in. Because if I don't have profit coming in, there's a major crack in my foundation. And believe me, I've been there. But don't ignore the crack because it's not going to go away, right? Find tools, people, resources, support to help you fill that crack and to refortify that foundation. Okay. Um, if I'm overwhelmed all day, anxious all day, I got to go back. I'm not having selahs during the day. I'm not pausing and remembering that my business is already a success because he's the one who brought it to me. It's in his hands and he's giving me the courage to do what I need to do today to get done today. Um, if you're not able to walk away from your desk when you said you were going to walk away from your desk and leave completed tasks and be like, those are for tomorrow because I'm walking away now and putting going up, enjoying my dinner, my family, putting my head on the pillow and getting a beautiful night's rest so that I can wake up refreshed and come back to my desk again. So these are the kinds of things that are fruit that if we've got a strong kingdom foundation, that's what we'll be experiencing. And if we're not, we've got some cracks. Another, area that I usually talk to a lot about clients with their kingdom foundation is their daily schedule, because the daily schedule reveals a lot. I used to tell clients that if you just give me your calendar, you show me a week in your calendar, I'll show you where your issues are in your business. Okay. So it's not really that hard to figure out what's going on with the dashboard of your business and where the cracks are. And when you see cracks, this is my last parting tip to you. When you see cracks in your business, um, praise God for them because why you're seeing them is because God wants you to fortify those cracks, heal those cracks, get those cracks fixed so that you can have a strong foundation to keep building. Because imagine that you've got a foundation and it's not very strong. Do you think God's going to start giving you heavy things, important things to put on that foundation if he knows it's going to fall apart? No. So some of you might be in total delay because you haven't addressed the foundation enough where God can trust that if He gives you more, it's actually going to stand and not crush you and your foundation. So, this is your challenge leaving here. Set 30 minutes sometime today. If you can do it right now, that's brilliant. But if you can't, come back to it. Set 30 minutes, go back through these 5 areas and really ask yourself, what do I need? Where are my beliefs? Am I making God the priority? Go through each of them and then have the joy of knowing you're finally now getting on the right track and building that foundation so that God can trust you with the heavier things that are coming, like more clients, more leads, more revenue. All right. Because and more expenses. Because if God can't give you those things knowing that the foundation is going to crack, you're not going to, why a good father wouldn't give you that, right? So, I pray this has been a blessing to you guys. I'm really excited to hear your comments on it. And just so you know, if you're not in our Kingdom Dream Chasers group, Facebook group, you need to get there because we're going to start doing some really exciting things in there. And I think you're going to really love the changes. There's going to be prizes and daily content and things that are just going to really, really bless you. So make sure you're in there. If you're not on my email list, every Wednesday, you get a reminder of this podcast. There's YouTube, there's the podcast, there's the email that goes out. We've got monthly event coming. Every month we have a monthly event. This month, well, can go to gailroot.com/events and find that. But that's all in the show notes. But 30 minutes, take the time. The foundation is crucial. It is worth your time. It is worth the investment.